Good morning and welcome on newspaper today on Osbc television, Iliawiyoke, Bale Oshogbo, Osun State, Nigeria. And on today's edition of newspaper today, we have quite numbers of newspaper to review this morning. And I want to tell you that we are going to be doing the service of informing, educating, and entertaining you at the same time. And to begin with this morning, let me welcome my guest, Citizen Lolawe. You're welcome for today's edition of newspaper today. Welcome back. Good morning.
Good morning.
And yes, moving on, I want to start from the Blueprint newspaper this morning. I'll be looking at the headline before we move back to our guests on today's edition of newspaper today. The front page of Blueprint newspaper: Police on Adamawa election saga. We've arrested Reg Yunusa Ari, others under investigations, and they assured justice will be served on the guilty parties. Reg honored invitation and wasn't arrested. Children is being credited to Reg Yunusa Ari, is our family member, and according to Ari, I never demanded gratification from Binani. That is still under investigation. When the investigation is out, we definitely know about that. And then still on the front page of Blueprint newspaper: Sudan evacuation, ethnic bias accusation force divisive, statement is being credited to NIGHTCOM. And saving Nigeria for 40 billion naira annually on productivity of Sobito. That's the statement is being credited to RMRDC. And World Press Day, we've kept faith with Nigerian media. That's the statement is being credited to President Muhammadu Buhari. And now to the front page of Leadership newspaper this morning. Ahead of inauguration, rent property value surge in Abuja. That's to tell you that there's something very important happening towards the end of this month. And editors seek press freedom safety for journalists. Still on the first page of the Leadership newspaper: President Muhammadu Buhari reappoints Abike Dabiri-Rewa as NIGHTCOM chairman. Adamawa Rek in police custody, says I didn't collect bribe. You see that too on the front page of Leadership newspaper this morning. And Ekurimadu saga, reps ECOWAS right United Kingdom government plead for clemency. Wike declares public holiday as Tinubu visits Rivers. You'll find out and more on the front page of Leadership newspaper. And now moving on to Vanguard newspaper this morning. No regrets declaring Binani winner, says Adamawa Reg. Buhari OK's partial exclusion of Finance Ministry from TSA. You'd also find that on the front page of Vanguard newspaper this morning. Ekurimadu saga, temper justice with mercy, reps ECOWAS Parliament or United Kingdom government. The Assembly boys as two speakers, a march. Despite National Working Committee's intervention, APC insists on suspension of National Vice Chair Secretary. So now, Citizen Lolawe, you're welcome once again on today's edition of Newspaper Today. We will be looking at some cogent points from our newspaper this morning. The first one, I'll pick it from the Blueprint newspaper. We've arrested Reg Yunusa Ari, others under investigation. That's a statement credited to the police command of Adamawa, who are in the investigation of Adamawa rerun election. And they assure that justice will be served. And Ari is saying he never demanded gratification from Binani. Your comment on this?
Yeah, I'm glad that the Reg is now in police custody, and then I'm glad that everybody that has a role, that played a role in the drama that took place in Adamawa immediately after the supplementary election, will also tell us the role they played and why they played their role. Does not regret
his actions
declaring Binani the winner of the election. I'll be glad to know exactly what gave him the confidence to announce Binani as the winner of the election, even when all the results have not been announced. he may know what the rest of us do not know. So I want Nigerians to exercise patience, to hear more from him. He also said that he's protected by that he has not acted outside the ambit of the law. I will want to know what the law that gave him the authority to make the declaration is, and how protected he is under that law.
All right, thank you so much. Now, another one from Leadership Newspaper. Editors seek press freedom, safety for journalists.
Yeah, I celebrate all journalists today because without press freedom, we wouldn't have a better nation. And then, if journalists must function effectively, their safety must be important to every one of us. I remember Dele Giwa died, and up to today, the person responsible for his death has not been identified nor punished. I would have loved that today that we're celebrating press freedom, that such an information would have been out by now. I would also like to see the then governor of Kano State, who first declared the no, I'm going outside.
Yes.
I'm going outside journalism now. Press freedom. I know that we have improved. We have moved from where we used to be. To a reasonable extent, there's freedom for the press. But there are rules that also guide the activities of the press. I want to see that being put into good use. The values that we enhance the freedom that press should have should be properly guided and maintained.
Right. Thank you so much, Ma. Now to the front page of the Punch newspaper. We have external debt. Federal government deducts 78 billion naira from state allocations.
It is unfortunate that despite the fact that Nigeria is a blessed nation, we have not been able to harness the resources that God has blessed this country with. And that is why we are saddled with the responsibility of servicing external debt. Some states have taken loans beyond their ability to pay back. And this is telling, this is having great impact on the lives of the citizens of those states. I remember there was a time Osun State's civil servants were earning half salary, which was as a result of the burden of the debt that the state was bearing as at that time. I think what we should lay emphasis upon now is that before you take a loan, let us know what the loan is going to be used for. What you have put in place to ensure that the loan is paid back in good time without it impacting negatively on the lives and activities of the citizens of the state. And how you will also ensure that the loan taken will not be siphoned by irresponsible Nigerians.
Thank you so much. Now to the front page of the Guardian newspaper. Negotiations, intense lobbying among contenders as National Working Committee meets.
It's interesting. Yes, politics is about lobbying and so on, but the intensity with which our political office holders always use to get into offices shows that their interest is actually not to serve the people, but to satisfy their personal and sometimes ethnic interest, which shouldn't be. If we must enjoy the benefits of good governance, service to the people should be paramount. And when you are talking about service to the people, equity, fairness, and justice must be seen to play out. And the competency, the capability, and the character of the individuals that will be chosen to occupy those offices must also be given adequate consideration. It shouldn't be, okay, because I have more friends among the opposition, members of the opposition party in the National Assembly, so I will occupy the position. Do you have the capacity to occupy the position? Do you have the capability to occupy the position? Do you have the right character to be in that office? And then you're being in that office, does it represent fairness, equity, and justice that will enhance the unity and peaceful coexistence of Nigerians?
Thank you so much. Now to the front page of Tribune newspaper, the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. Sudan crisis, first batch of stranded Nigerians to arrive at Abuja today. And Webs invite our Foreign Affairs Minister, Nightcom and Nema.
Yes, I'll be glad to see the first batch of stranded Nigerians in Sudan arrive Nigeria today. To be good news. It is unfortunate that what happened in Sudan happened. And then there's a lot of lessons that we should learn from that. There should be a specific template. We should not just react to situations. We should be proactive. That's what I see, or I saw that played out. That we simply reacted. We were not proactive. We didn't have a template in place for evacuation of Nigerians from crisis-ridden areas, in any part of the world. And that is what we should work on now. And then I think there was a lot of confusion. There's a Ministry of Foreign Affairs, there's NEMA, there's NICOM. I think every one of them should who have a role to play, should know where their roles
and their jurisdictions.
Yes. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs has a duty to ensure the safety of all Nigerians outside the country. NEMA, humanitarian, was it the other one that is headed by Honorable Abike Dabiri? I think Abike Dabiri ought to work hand in hand with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, since her agency is in charge of the well-being of Nigerians in the diaspora. So they have to work together. But the Ministry of Humanitarian Services and NEMA whatsoever, I think the activities should be internal. There are things that should be put in place in Nigeria to receive Nigerians being brought back home from crisis areas. Have those things been put in place? Those are the things, those are the activities that I think the Ministry of Humanitarian and whatsoever, and then the NEMA should be looking at, not being directly involved in the evacuation of Nigerians from Sudan.
Thank you so much, Ma. Now, still on the front page of the Tribune, Nigerian Tribune newspaper, 200% pay rise demand not outrageous. Federal government can afford it. This is the statement credited to resident doctors.
Wow. I'm sure that by the time the cow is killed, we all have no cow. I believe that is the pace at which were working. I, as a human resource management specialist, I have never supported the idea of salary increase. Rather, what I think workers at all levels and professionals should always seek for is improvements and improved access to quality services, such as what is the quality of our public education, what is the quality of our public health facilities, and then what is the cost of living in Nigeria. I would have expected the organized labor to always seek for how the cost of living can be brought down, can be reduced to the barest minimum. If that is achieved, if the quality of public education is improved, is high enough, there will be no need to send children to private schools. If the quality of our public health facilities are good enough, there will be no reason for us to spend a lot of money assessing quality healthcare services. I believe if the organized labor can look at those critical areas and work on them, we will not be asking for salary increase. You get salary increase today, inflation takes whatever that you think you have gotten away shortly after. But if the quality of the public health is improved, the quality of public education is improved, the cost of living, if we have housing, transportation, if the cost is brought down to the barest minimum, workers will have no reason to demand for higher pay, which will soon be eroded by inflation. Demand pull, inflation, too much money chasing too few goods. Nigeria is not producing any good. When workers have money, they want to demand for more goods. That's the essence of asking for an increased pay. And then the costs continue to rise beyond the reach of workers. We should focus on the quality of the services that that citizens get from public facilities.
Thank you so much, Ma. Now, on the front page of Business Day newspaper, local refiners now buy crude in Naira at CBN dollar rates. The NNPC has said that rules the struggling modular refining operators says,
Yeah, we've been talking about the difficulty in assessing dollar, and then we've been talking about the depletion of the foreign reserve, which is, like I said earlier, we are not producing anything. The crude oil that we have, why can't we refine it in Nigeria to create employment for Nigerians, to use the byproducts, to make the byproduct available for Nigerians, and then eliminate the cost of importation and create wealth for Nigerians.
Thank you so much, Ma. 2 months, the front page of Daily Trust, 2 months after election, custom officers yet to get allowances.
It is quite unfortunate. We need to know who is responsible for that. When I believe that when workers work, when people do a job, they deserve to be paid the agreed fee as at when due. 2 months after the election, I believe others must have gotten their own allowances. Why? Who is holding on to the allowances meant for the customs officers? And why is their own allowances being held on to? When then the best. But when you pay peanuts, then you must also expect monkey business. Next time when you ask Nigerians to go out and do something and that they will be paid, they will be skeptical. They will not put in their best. I think they deserve to be paid, and they should be paid their allowances now and now.
Thank you so much, Ma. Now, the front page of the Punch newspaper, deadly noodles NAFDAC takes probe to factories and markets.
Yes, I'm glad that NAFDAC responded quickly to the discovery of deadly noodles produced outside Nigeria and in Malaysia, and then I think one other country. And then I was glad last night, and I was listening to Professor Adeyeye, and she said the deadly noodles are not in Nigeria, that they scanned our markets. And then, but I think Nigerians must keep their eyes open, because some unpatriotic and irresponsible Nigerians may want to take advantage of the situation to make profits out of this bad developments, to bring in those deadly noodles through the back door. So all eyes must be on our borders, all eyes must be on all our markets, and then parents must be sensitized not to buy the foreign one. And the only way we can sensitize them is to make them know the one that is foreign. How to identify it. What are the features they should look out for? What are the implications of eating the foreign one? Because they will come in, they will be cheaper than the one. They are already cheaper than the one we produce in Nigeria. So cost may encourage parents to buy cheap things at the expense of their well-being.
All right, thank you so much. Now let's look at this last one before I now round off with some headlines again. Agora policy tax president-elect on prudence, fiscal responsibility.
Yeah, I agree with Agora policy. Agora policy is a think tank that is a non-profit, that is committed to non-profits, and there are areas of interest in ensuring that government is ensuring good governance, that will give us make citizens enjoy the benefits of good governance. And what they're asking the incoming government to do is to lead by example, and to ensure that it is the services that they expect citizens to get, that citizens are actually getting. And that can only be achieved if there are mystery shoppers who go around disguising to be patronizing those services. I talked about the public health, I talked about the public schools from primary to tertiary
institutions.
So how are they being run effectively? What are their activities cost effective? If we are able to reduce waste to the barest minimum, Nigerians Nigeria will get better, and that's the only way we can enjoy dividends of democracy, and that is what Agora policy is talking about. There are areas of focus: economic, social, environmental, and good governance.
Thank you so much. And now I want to say a very big thank you to you for appearing on News Report today on Osbc television. Thank you once again. And I want to say thank you to everyone behind the success of today's edition of News Report today. So when I come your way again, I remain your own host, Oluwa Tobiloba Odunuga, saying bye for now.